Wednesday, October 1st. Market analysis, Stan Ehrlich. This is the month I've been waiting for. But so far, I've been very disappointed. You guys know I start out with stock market indexes, go to futures, and then go to stocks, and sometimes other commentary. And lately, it has been about the October lows, which, since 1993, approximately 90% of the time, they have had significant buying opportunities during the month of October. Now, usually the down move is started August or September into October. And often the buying opportunity is extremely profound. Sometimes kind of mild and not that big a deal, but a low worth buying. Also, a low worth getting out of the market before that low happened, and then back in again if you like the long side of the market only, or for investor types, assuming taxes and so on. So we don't have much to say that's bearish. Some about the indexes. All-time new historic high today and a new high close for the MES. Micro E-mini. What can I say? So far, we had an outside up day. It could end up being one of my bass-backwards reversals. Remains to be seen. Normally an outside up day or a bullish engulfing candlestick is bullish, hence the name. So I have to go on the side of a sharp rally for the next day or two, which is probably going to put it in overbought condition again. And again, prime territory for some sort of break. Next, we're looking at the 5-minute chart. It simply shows you the new highs, a little pullback to support, and the market starts to come back up again. Just a moment. Okay. The next chart is Spider, new historic highs, new high close, no bullish engulfing, just simply strength, not quite overbought but close. So I am getting ready again to talk about potential tops and moves down into this month, October. The low could be at any day during the month. Sometimes I've seen it at the last trading day of the month and sometimes the very first one, but obviously the average is somewhere in the middle, obviously. You have more strength expected short term, but again, about to get overbought. So if you're long, I would simply be raising my protective stops, stop loss orders, to protect bigger and better profits. My sell signals have not worked. I've gotten 2 of them. We'll see if they end up being part of the topping out process, but I can't say we're topping out. I just don't see it. Looking for higher levels with lots of caution. Next, 5-minute spider. What can I say? Straight up, I have not been accurate on these indexes for a while now, unfortunately. QQQ. New high close, strong, same story, looking for higher levels, but very, very cautiously, we are almost overbought, super close. And the 5-minute chart shows, of course, on the QQQ the same thing. What about the NASDAQ NASDAQ NQ? Almost the same story, almost a new high close, almost exactly the same as the previous one, which was in overbought condition back on September 22. Yes, it could turn into a double top, but don't see it yet. Yes, we do have an outside up day, almost an overbought condition, which means it could be one of those bass backwards, but don't see it yet. So all I can say is if I was long, I'm not at the moment, I would be raising my protective stops. And I'm not willing to be a buyer when we're so close to overbought conditions. Next, NQ, 5-minute chart, just barely a new high historically, and a little pullback. Next, we've got the YM. It's close on the heels of the S&Ps or the Qs. Strong close, up a bit, not huge. Bullish engulfing, above a support area, bounced off of it a few days ago. This is just simply acting bullish. Next, YM, 5-minute, obviously detail on the previous daily chart, and Russell, and the Dow in a moment. The Russell and the Dow both are lagging behind. They're not that close to previous highs, but not that far away either. If all these indexes continue to stay strong, I would expect within a week and a half, the Russell to be at all new highs for the rally. Now, this is not anywhere near all-time new highs for the Russell. You have to go back multiple years to see the previous highs. But it's in a major area of resistance. So it's got elbow room to make new highs and still be in that broad area of resistance where it has topped out many times in the last few years. 5-minute chart on the Russell. Bonds. We have an outside update today in the bonds. Now, unfortunately, we don't have oversold conditions. If we had, this would be a bullish engulfing green. But an outside update normally means we're going to go up for a bit of time and price. It does not tell you how much necessarily or for how long. So I'm expecting a little more strength. Maybe we'll get overbought again, and maybe we'll get back up to these old highs here at 118.21. And there's the definite possibility that those two words go together. Probably not. There is a possibility, a likely probability, that we will get up to 119.21-ish resistance and make a new high for several months. Now that is bearish for interest rates because this is going up. So I'm cautiously optimistic that that's going to be true. But I don't like the situation at the moment. I am friendly, I'm bullish, I'm looking for a test of recent highs. If it closes below 115.23, it changes the story completely, and I do not expect that at the moment. The outside update and the notes does the same thing for me. Also, it is popping up above a trading range, which was support and resistance zone. It broke below it. Now it's breaking above it. I've got to go with friendly and a test of recent highs, 113, almost 114. Next, crude energies. Well, we're back down to the support area like I talked about. Topped out right in a resistance area, and 3 days later, we're back to support. We're between the rock and the hard spot, or is that the rock and the hard spot? Whatever. So, almost oversold? Nah, not really. We have a ways to go, frankly. Maybe we will see this support area broken. But I have to go with what has happened so far. I'm looking for a bounce. Next, natural gas. Up against resistance and overbought. That's a couple of my favorites combined. So I'm thinking it's just about to turn right back down again. You know this complex top formation I've been talking about for quite a minute, several months. And it's still in effect. I am still looking for 1.5, 1.6 on the downside for the minimum downside objective for this giant complex head and shoulder top, which started in November of last year until June of this year. Next, heating oil. Well, the pennant is still in force. We had a doji, but closed real close to the low of the day and yesterday's lows. So I'm expecting it to drop off a bit more. A little support line you could draw underneath here, but I don't think that's very important. Looking for the test of the bottom of the pennant. That would be around 1.2 and maybe 1.18. Next, overbought again, new highs again, and now in very high overbought levels. Gold. So I'm very much looking for a move down very soon. Wouldn't be buying up here, that's for sure. Be a little patient here. I would and I am looking for sell signals. Next, same story in silver. Very overbought, 82.05 RSI. A couple of days ago, it was even more overbought than that at 86 or 87. New high today, new high close again, but this should be very, very close to the highest high for the rally and very, very close to the time when it starts to drop down like tomorrow. Next, we have a bearish engulfing yesterday on platinum, I pointed out. The market today dropped off a little bit. It's a doji. I want to see it close below yesterday's low, ASAP, which I think is going to happen before the end of the week. Any close above the high of the red bar, which is yesterday's high, kills the signal, and maybe we'll get up to the minimum objective, which was 1693.5 for this pennant formation that we broke out of over a week ago. That still is in effect. But now I expect a downside retracement first. And that would be probably back to 1466, 1450-ish, the support horizontal line, or the top of the old pennant. Next. Keeps creeping up here nicely, hot copper, but it's not overbought anymore. Not particularly important today for the price activity. So I'm actually looking for it to come back down to support at 4.67 to be a little more accurate. Modestly bearish at the moment on copper, but it's not very volatile. Now, soybeans did have a brand new major bullish engulfing ER buy signal today, and it was very close to a support area, and it is in the realm, not quite there, but close to where it bottomed out once, twice, 3, 4 times, taking several days usually over the last year. It looks like today's the low day, and it's going to start to rally up, period. I think it has a good chance of coming all the way back up to 1060. Next, bullish engulfing also in soybean oil, right off of support. Great signal. The only problem is it wasn't oversold, therefore it didn't turn green, but it was kind of close. So I'm now looking for a rally in soybean oil off a support area and a bullish engulfing today. Back up to at least 54. Next, meal. Oversold, new low, but the close was not below the previous lows. It was back up into the same range of the previous 4 days. A little close above 278 probably is going to start to push it all the way back up a lot higher, but that hasn't happened yet. But it's pretty close, $5. Otherwise, the trend is still down. It's oversold, not too badly. I haven't gotten any reversals. I've got to stay a little bit bearish, but very, very, very cautiously. I think it's about to turn up very soon. Not yet. Next, new low corn, slightly higher close. I'm not getting much out of this. Support was broken. I'm turning neutral to a little bit bearish on corn at the moment. We're not oversold yet. I'm still looking for a long-term bottom. I talked about this maybe being a shoulder, but it's getting a little stale. It's a little too late timing-wise. And now it's starting to get a little too low price-wise. So I'm not going to pursue that. I'm just going to leave the theoretical neckline in place and call it a little bit of a bear trend line, not necessarily your typical one. Next, wheat. Another new low, not oversold. This is bearish. What can I say? The close was reasonable. No reversal. Looking for lower levels. Apple, new high today, but a very poor close. And the new high was just by a little tiny bit. This still has earmarks of trying to top out. I'm looking for a breakdown to 246.30-ish, closing a gap, then probably to support at 241.5-ish, and maybe even close this gap down here at 234. Next, New high close, Tesla, and overbought again. Approaching major previous tops back in December of last year, which was a bearish engulfing ER sell signal. And a whopper of one, as it turns out to be now historical. It ends up being a 3-month bear move and substantial, to say the least. What was it? To about 480 down to about 220. That's 480 down to 220-ish. Next, I should say, looking for a top in Tesla soon, maybe a little bit higher. Now, this is an upside breakout on NVIDIA yesterday. There is a test of support and a little bit of a dip. Bounced right off of the support level, closed higher high, probably work its way up a bit more. I'm thinking somewhere between 190 and 200. 200 is a real big psychological resistance area. MES. We're back to the beginning. You guys have a great day and profitable trading to you.